jump to the main event. Please, 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 please don't be another sad OG vet falling on a sword. We have Pedro Munhoz is minus 255 against Frankie the Answer Edgar at plus 215. Frankie, the former lightweight champ, the former 3-time featherweight contender, now finally here at bantamweight, which we've been talking about for a long, long time. He was even on his way to 135 before he bounced up to fight Zombie on last minute notice at 145. But we're finally here, man. We're here at 135. We're here against Pedro Munhoz, who's got some serious hands and a serious ground game. I don't know, man. Does Frankie still have it, Mike? Can he do this? Do you think he could do this?
Yeah, dude. I think that Frankie's world-class wrestling is so far superior than most people really understand wrestling levels. I still think it's world-class enough to beat Munhoz. I believe Dodson beat Munhoz because of his wrestling and his scrambling ability. I think that this is one of the fights that Frankie Edgar can beat. Pedro Munhoz just lost to Aljamain Sterling, I believe it was, in his last fight. Aljamain Sterling is a training partner of Frankie Edgar with Matt Serra-Longo and them. They're very close with his boxing coach, so they all utilize each other as training partners. Mark Henry is who I'm just referring to. I know that they all are intertwined and then they use each other greatly. He trains with some of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world over there on the East Coast. I don't see Frankie getting subbed. So the only thing I look out for is a fluke knockout, but Frankie Edgar's got 5 rounds to do a 5-round wrestling performance on a guy who doesn't like wrestlers. So I really like this chance at Frankie Edgar to win this fight.
Honestly, the only thing I have nerves about at this point in time is Frankie Edgar's chin. Not saying it's gone, because I don't think it's gone. But now here at 135, when you think about how much damage he took at 55 and didn't go out, and how much damage he took at 45 until it finally put him out, the 135 makes me nervous. I wanted him to be at 135 back
5 years ago.
Yeah, because I would have loved, like, you can't tell me that, let's see, time-wise, right when the UFC came over, or WEC came over, and you had Dominic Cruz as the bantamweight champion. And the hard part is Frankie was the 155 champion at that point, so it's kind of hard for that. But when those guys were in that level of prime, I would have loved to see Frankie Edgar fight Dominic Cruz, because Dominic Cruz is dominant with his wrestling mixed in with he's basically like the herky-jerky odd style version of Frankie Edgar, whereas Frankie Edgar had the more powerful wrestling and better, like all those things. Like that would have been my dream fight, and that was like you said, like minimum 5-6 years ago, if not longer. And now he's finally here at bantamweight, and he's 38, dropping down. I don't know, man. There's a reason why, although Frankie Edgar is plus 215, that this is not a bet on the show. We love Frankie. Skill for skill, if this was even the Frankie of 3-4 years ago at bantamweight, I pick him in this spot all day. I'm curious why this is the odds. I probably put too much money on it, all those things. I'm nervous for him, man. I really, really am. Especially the way vets have been going. I know it gets a little sad sap again, but I'm picking for Edgar because I do think he has the ability. Obviously, Munhoz was originally known for being a sick grappler on the ground, has shown a little bit of power on top, but it's still not fluid striking, it's power striking. Like, he beat Cody Garbrandt because he got Cody Garbrandt to brawl with him. If he gets you to brawl with him, he's still got a strong enough chin. He's going to get going with it. Whereas if Edgar can take the shots, he for sure has the output and he has the superior wrestling. So there's a lot of check marks going his way. So I'm going to pick him. And if you're confident in him, by all means, put money on him. We will be rooting for Frankie Edgar. Probably the whole MMAforMoney team will be rooting for Frankie Edgar, New Jersey native that he is. So kudos to Frankie Edgar, going all for him. And I do think he's got a shot here. And I'm honestly, I'm trying to, like, we've talked about disrespectful odds, and like when things start to get to a certain level and like when they get too far, you almost bet strictly based on that. And like where we were with Vera, we were so close to just strictly based off the disrespectful odds. Right now we're at plus 215. at what point, Mike, do the odds get too disrespectful for Frankie Edgar that you just got to go that way?
Plus 250 for sure. Probably if it gets just 40 more cents on the dollar, I'll be over at it.
I'll tell you what, we will make that as a commitment on the show. And I don't mean commitment like, oh, guys, we're going to hold hands and this is a promise and we're promising each other. This is we're counting this as a bet for the show. If it hits plus 250, we will put a unit on it if he hits plus 250. Because, like, agreed, that's disrespectful odds. Mike, do you agree to that? That if it hits plus 250, that'll be a bet for the show?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. I'm going to write that down because I want to make sure I'll put that for our show notes to let you guys know how many bets we have going for the show. Oh, this one is tentative, so that might be a little bit odd. So, we're going to do a quick review of the bets for the card. Obviously, we just talked about them, but just to completely clear things up, we have to win 2 units at the minus 135 on Alonzo Menafield. So that's 2.7 units to win the 2. And we have a tentative bet on Frankie Edgar if he hits the plus 250. We will make sure to shout out those numbers once they get hit. It'll be something like on the Twitter account or our personal accounts will be like plus 250. You know what that means. And that means the trigger has been pulled and we're all there. Hopefully it doesn't get slammed too much and drop back down. So keep an eye out for those notifications.